Command, this is Hog 3. I've got targets. Engage! Repeat! Engage!
February 26th, 1991. Highway 80 near Mutla Ridge, Kuwait. Before sunrise, the desert wind howls. Highway 80 stretches across the sands like a black scar, now choked with retreating Iraqi vehicles. Civilian trucks, stolen cars, tanks, APCS, all crawling toward Basra. Operation Desert Storm was nearing its end. Iraq's army, broken and bloodied, fled Kuwait in chaos. But retreat would not mean escape. At dawn, this highway would become a graveyard, and the world would witness war's merciless efficiency. Captain Marcus Reid aboard an A-10 Warthog eyes the armored column below. The convoy is dense, confused.
Command, this is Hog 3. I've got targets. Convoy heading north, 10 clicks long. Engage! Repeat! Engage!
The skies erupt in chaos, a storm of steel and fire. A-10 Warthogs scream low over the battlefield, their cannons growling like thunder. Above, F-15s dive, unleashing precision strikes, while Apaches hover like predators, spitting hellfire missiles. The air trembles with destruction, a symphony of modern war unleashed. The lead tank explodes, then the rear. No exit. Over 1,400 vehicles, thousands of soldiers, some fighting, most fleeing. In a span of hours, the road would be reduced to twisted steel, charred flesh, and scorched sand. Reid's face is stone. His eyes don't blink. 2 days earlier, U.S. forces had smashed through Iraq's western defenses, tearing open the desert flank. With speed and precision, they encircled Saddam's vaunted Republican Guard, trapping his elite divisions in a tightening noose of armor, artillery, and relentless air power. General Schwarzkopf's left hook maneuver was devastating. Iraqi command crumbled. Orders were delayed, contradictory. Panic spread through the ranks. In a command tent near the border, intelligence officers circle satellite imagery.
They're pulling out. Fast. Every road north is lighting up. They're going to bottle up on Highway 80.
Air tasking orders are drawn. Forward air controllers, FACS, deployed to paint targets. A-10 pilots are briefed to fly low and hit hard. On Highway 80, Iraqi Major Kareem al-Saad barked orders through the chaos, pushing his weary men to move. Engines roared. Trucks overloaded with soldiers and equipment lurched forward, desperate to escape the tightening American encirclement that closed in from every side.
Drive! Leave everything that can't roll!
Children and civilians cling to truck beds. Tanks mix with buses. Soldiers toss rifles, trade uniforms for robes. This wasn't a coordinated retreat. It was desperation on wheels, and it was about to be punished with terrifying precision. 6:45 a.m. Dawn shatters with the roar of A-10 Warthogs diving low. Their 30mm cannons unleash a buzzsaw of fire ripping through Iraqi armored columns. Hellfire missiles streak from Apaches overhead, slamming into T-55 tanks. Flames erupt, metal twists, and the desert battlefield becomes an inferno of destruction.
Tracking AAA. I'm rolling in again.
Tracer fire climbs toward him. He jinks left, banks hard. On the deck, smoke billows and towers, explosions ripple like waves. Another pilot's voice crackles.
They're running, Marcus. Some are abandoning their vehicles.
Reid spots them, soldiers spilling from blazing trucks. Some stumble forward, waving desperate white rags of surrender. Others, blinded by panic, raise rifles and fire wildly into the smoke-filled desert chaos. Rules of engagement were clear. Hostile targets, but with chaos below, friend and foe blurred. Bombs fell anyway. Back on the ground, Kareem helps a wounded conscript to safety behind a wrecked APC.
Stay low! Don't fire unless fired upon!
He knows it's futile. For Iraqi soldiers, there was no air cover, no command structure, and no hope of survival. The vast desert sky belonged entirely to the coalition, relentless and absolute. Reid circles again, low and grim. By noon, the highway is an apocalyptic scene. Vehicles burn in rows, ammunition cooks off, fuel trucks explode like volcanoes. Apaches buzz the rear. F-15s hit escape routes. Dazed survivors stumble across sand dunes, some collapsing in exhaustion. The retreat became a massacre. It wasn't a battle, it was a slaughter. A modern army unleashed on a road full of chaos. Kareem, now with a group of 20 survivors, huddles behind a destroyed tank.
We must reach the wadi. Crawl if you have to.
He hears the shriek of another missile. He pushes a soldier ahead, then is thrown sideways by the blast. Sand and blood fill his vision. Meanwhile, Reid limps back to base, his Warthog shuddering in the air. The fuselage is riddled with holes, armor scorched, yet the beast refuses to die, just like its pilot.
I saw medics, kids. I don't even know what I saw.
It lingered like a shadow across the desert, haunting both sides who fought beneath that sky. For some, it became a symbol of decisive victory. For others, it remained a bitter wound, a memory branded as a war crime. Footage leaks. Journalists on the ground capture the twisted wreckage, burnt corpses, vehicles stacked like tombstones. When images of the highway of death reached the world, reactions split. Was it a just strike against a retreating army? Or a massacre of men who could no longer fight? Pentagon press conferences defend the action. Military analysts cite Geneva rules. Armed retreating units were lawful targets, but voices inside the coalition questioned the horror.
They weren't fighting, they were running. That didn't feel like justice.
Back in Baghdad, Kareem is found, barely alive, burned and broken. He will live and remember. Kuwaiti civilians later pick through the remains, searching for stolen goods, bodies, or answers. War always has victors, but rarely does it have innocence. Back home, Marcus Reid sits on his porch. Months have passed, his medals are boxed, untouched.
You did your duty.
I did what I was told, but I don't know if we were right.
He sees fire every night, the faces in the convoy, the red flags, the silence after a missile hit. Victory in Desert Storm was swift, decisive, and absolute. Yet for many who fought, especially those who rained destruction from the skies, it carried a heavier burden, the invisible lingering cost etched deep into the spirit. He attends the funeral of a fellow pilot. The priest reads scripture over a folded flag.
We survived. But did we win?
He doesn't speak publicly, but he never forgets. Today, Highway 80 stretches smooth and rebuilt, carrying new travelers across the desert. Yet beneath the fresh asphalt lie silent ghosts of that night. Charred steel, lost voices and memories buried but never erased. Rusting tank hulls remain entombed beneath shifting dunes, silent monuments to the fury unleashed. From above, satellite images still trace the blackened scar, a burned strip carved forever into the desert's memory. Kareem now teaches history in Mosul. He walks with a cane. In class, he never talks about the war. Reid flies no more. His warbird days are gone. Now with brush in hand, he paints. Deserts stretching endless, skies vast and unforgiving, and lonely roads where ghosts still linger in silence. History remembers it as a turning point, a triumph of modern war. But veterans call it something else. The day the fight shed honor and began to feel more like judgment. The highway of death was the price of modern war. Precise, brutal, and unrelenting. It raised questions the victors couldn't answer and left wounds time has not healed. The highway of death is more than a battlefield. It is a scar etched into desert and memory alike. Historians call it ruthless strategy. Veterans recall triumph fused with torment. Survivors bear silence that never ends. Wars conclude on maps and in treaties, but for those who lived them, they never truly finish. Highway 80 was rebuilt, yet beneath the asphalt, its ghosts still march through time.